One thing this channel has always attempted to do is to try to like downplay or try to put a little bit of cold water on AI hype beasts. Okay, it's just been something that I've found to be very annoying about these last couple years is that there's this all or nothing approach that you often see from Y Combinator or from CEOs of major AI companies like Dario right here. 3 to 6 months, 90% of all code will be just written by AI. But again, this was 9 months ago, and that's currently not happening. Also, you just see all these like CEOs of major companies going out there being like, embrace AI or get the hell out of here. And yet, in this golden age of software, honestly, I do think we're in a golden age of software. In this golden age, we have the highest quantity of software ever written. Yet it feels like we have some of the lowest quality of software ever written. I think Microsoft is one of the best single examples of this. Microsoft finally admits almost all major Windows 11 core features are broken. And yes, that includes startup menu experience, search, system settings, taskbar, and Explorer. In other words, Microsoft Windows. So in this day and age, when I heard of a man named Matt Garman give his opinion, I was actually pretty shocked. And you're probably a lot like me. You were like, who's Matt Garman? I don't know. Should I know Matt Garman? Well, the funny thing is you know of his position. You just probably don't know him. Matt Garman is CEO of AWS. Yep, that little old hosting company, AWS. And here is what he has to say. I was at a leadership group, and people were telling me they are like, we think that AI, we can replace all of our junior people in our company. I was like, that's like one of the dumbest things I've heard. This amazing. Absolutely amazing. There is a CEO out there that does have a more level head when it comes to some of these AI things. I would have loved, by the way, to be sitting in there, a bunch of people, yeah, we're going to get all those juniors out. Everyone at the table, hell yeah! They're all like high-fiving, I don't know, doing whatever CEO people do, like, I don't know, insult their blood boy and whatever it is. And then just to have this guy be like, yeah, okay, yeah. That's the dumbest idea I have ever heard. Like, dude, what an actual boss. Now, I have a lot to say about why I think junior devs are actually significantly more valuable than a lot of these cucked AI overlord hype beasts have been pushing lately, but we'll get there. All right, so Matt actually ends up giving us 3 reasons why junior devs will remain kind of a valuable commodity in the day and age of AI. Now, his reasons, honestly, for how based his statement was, I didn't really like him. His first reason, junior devs often know AI tools better. I don't know if that's true or not. Like, I truly don't know if that's true. Now, you could convince me that junior devs use AI tools more. That doesn't necessarily mean they know them better. And so of the 3 reasons why junior devs are valuable, I do find this one to be rather lackluster. Matt's second reason also just has this air of big company, right? It's just like they're so used to just firing orgs and firing large amounts of people. The second one really kind of like lines up with that mentality, which is junior developers shouldn't be the default cost-saving move. Which, like, at least how I read it is like, hey, if you're going to fire someone, you got to get those more experienced people. Those pieces of crap are expensive. But at the bottom, he does say something that's pretty amazing, which is, in fact, 30% of companies that laid off workers expecting savings ended up increasing expenses, and many had to rehire later. And this is true. I actually personally know some stories that involve firing people just to later rehire the exact same person at a higher wage due to the laying off to begin with. But lastly, his last point, I think, is probably the most interesting one, which is removing juniors break the talent pipeline. And he's kind of looking at it in this like long horizon. In other words, when there are not enough junior hires being trained today, teams struggle to fill roles tomorrow, especially at project scales. And I agree with him, but this is like on much larger time scales, which this is always just true. If there's not new people coming in, and as the old people age out, you could find yourself in kind of a tricky situation where you have to pay an ever increasingly large amount of money just to hire anybody. And honestly, this is kind of what the 2010s genuinely felt like. It was still that kind of holdover from the dot-com boom era where everybody was going to be a software engineer, then nobody was going to be a software engineer, and the numbers never quite recovered. And all of a sudden you're hitting 2008, 2010, and people are starting to pay more and more money because there's just not that many developers available. And with Dario and all these kind of dummies on the internet keep telling everybody that software engineering is going to be dead, well, they're going to be causing a similar-esque problem. They're going to be causing a less and less amount of people entering into the workforce, which thus will kind of have this like second order effect in 5 years. So yes, I actually do agree with Matt in the overall statement that AI is not going to be replacing junior devs. Junior devs are actually incredibly valuable, and it's really valuable long-term in the pipeline. Though I think his points are a bit weak, I do think I have a better reason why junior devs are valuable. But I got to tell you a little bit of a story. Here's the problem with AI and junior devs. When I used to have some junior devs, I used to be able to command a fleet of them. And what I used to be able to do is be like, hey, this part of the system, I want you to take a look at. We need to go from here to here, and I just want you to go explore, think about things, and kind of give me what you think. And it'd go on, they'd go off and they would work for some amount of time. And then come back with a bunch of different ideas, or some of them very unique. Unique doesn't mean good or bad, just they were very unique. But nonetheless, they actually cared about the product. Like they actually had an emotional investment in making the place better. So often their changes weren't simply exactly what I asked for, but they were able to morph it and set it and be able to kind of grow into this position of expertise where instead of just simply being someone that does exactly what I say in the exact way that I say, they start making changes that are not what I'm saying. They're reading between the lines. They're able to do so much more, and it requires less and less communication from me over time. Whereas obviously with AI, the biggest problem with AI is I have to accurately describe my problem. And let's just face it, the moment PMs can accurately describe a problem is the day that software development no longer exists, which, by the way, is never. And so it's like, that's the thing that I think is missing from this discussion is the value multiplication that starts happening as junior devs go from complete novice into someone that can start navigating this, the org structure and the large code base. Then all of a sudden they become super valuable coworkers in which you start going into different places and you're like, hey, I need your help. Tell me about this. What do you think? And all of a sudden their value starts skyrocketing much more than an AI or anything else has because I can individually communicate with them. We can talk about ideas. We can see things that don't currently exist and weren't even spoken of. There's like this whole problem a lot with people kind of miss is that you sometimes have to do something wrong for a little bit or do something that's less efficient to understand what the actual correct answer is. You need to do the wrong thing to figure out what the right thing is. Like one of the plugins I developed, Harpoon, I built like so many different versions of the exact same plugin, but with completely different ideas, trying to figure out how I wanted to navigate because I didn't know quite what it was. And sure, AI could have made that process of doing these little explorations much, much faster, but then I still had to just sit down and use it for 2 weeks. And so it was almost never a problem of writing code. It was a problem of understanding what the right problem is to solve. So again, I have to say this. I don't think we have a quantity problem. We have a quality problem. And I think that having junior devs is an excellent way to explore space, bounce off ideas, and genuinely have people that are enthusiastic and excited about what they're doing. So do I think junior devs are going to get replaced with AI? No. But do I think a lot of companies are going to replace junior devs with AI? Yeah, for some amount of time until they realize it was a huge mistake. The name is the Primogen. The two biggest problems in computer science is cache invalidation and pronouncing things. I've personally spent all day on Teams arguing whether it's SQL or Squeal. Well, I have great news for you. Today, we have a company that solves both of these problems. Convex.
Prime? Pretty sure that's Convex.
Teach, get out of my ad. Convex lets you ship your backend without a backend team. Its real-time database makes it easy to keep all of your queries up to date. Convex allows you to stop worrying about complicated SQL and untyped messes. Instead, you can embrace Convex's deep TypeScript integration with type completion and validation and database queries that are just pure, uncut TypeScript functions. Try Convex today in your language of choice: TypeScript, Python, and even Rust. Visit convex.dev.